So you've got Elon Musk, right? On one hand, he's building rockets to go to Mars. On the other, he's convinced there's a plot to end American democracy. How on earth do those two things connect? Well, to figure that out, we're going to have to dive deep into the worldview he laid out in this really fascinating, wide-ranging interview.
I mean, for years, we've all known Elon Musk as the engineer, the guy building the future with this absolutely awe-inspiring hardware. You think of SpaceX, you think of Tesla, the physical stuff.
But, and this is a big but, according to this interview, his focus has completely expanded. He's now looking at what he sees as this incredibly high-stakes political battle, a battle for the future of civilization itself.
Okay, rockets, social media, and a plot to end democracy. It all sounds like a huge leap, doesn't it? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down the 4 key pillars of his worldview to see exactly how, in his mind, his huge technological ambitions are totally inseparable from his political ideology.
All right, let's start with the stuff you can actually touch, the hardware. We're talking about the massive machines Musk is building to, as he puts it, literally change humanity's trajectory.
So check this out. 17,000 miles per hour. That's the speed of Starship, his next-gen rocket. And just to put that into perspective, he says that's about 12 times faster than a bullet from an assault rifle. We're talking something like 25 times the speed of sound. Just wow.
But, speed is really only part of the story. The core principle that Musk just keeps hammering on is full reusability. He's basically arguing that this is the absolute, non-negotiable key to making humanity a multi-planetary species. He claims it could drop the cost of getting into space by a factor of 100 or maybe even 1,000. And this focus on, fundamental engineering constraints, it goes way beyond rockets. It extends right to his vehicles. Take the Cybertruck. That unique look, it's not about style. Musk explains that the flat, kind of planar shape is a direct result of the material itself. The stainless steel is so incredibly hard that it literally breaks the stamping presses that would normally curve the metal. The design is dictated by the material, not the other way around. Okay, so this whole first principles engineering thing, it isn't just for hardware. Musk is applying the exact same thinking to what he sees as a huge problem in our social software. How we all communicate with each other.
This is where things get really interesting. Musk says his #1 motivation for buying Twitter, now X of course, was to fight something he calls the woke mind virus. Now that's his term for a set of ideologies that he believes have just become totally destructive. He felt it was causing, and this is a direct quote, destruction at a civilizational level.
And he uses this really vivid Lord of the Rings analogy to describe how he saw the platform back then. He called it worm tongue for the world. Basically, he saw it as this thing whispering lies, manipulating public perception, just like the character Wormtongue poisoned the king's mind in the story.
So the crucial takeaway here is that his purchase of the platform, it really wasn't just a business decision. For him, it was a central move in this ideological war. He wanted to create a place where, in his words, sunlight is the best disinfectant.
And that brings us to what is probably the most intense part of the entire interview. This is Musk's detailed diagnosis of what he sees as a fundamental, systemic threat to American democracy. Okay, so Musk lays out this pretty detailed 4-step argument. He claims there's a strategy, and it starts with open borders and financial incentives. Then he says this allows non-citizens to be counted in the census, which in turn gives more political power, more seats in Congress, more electoral votes to certain states. And the ultimate goal, he argues, is to create a permanent democratic supermajority. Now, to back this up, Musk points to a very specific mechanism, the U.S. Census. You see, as the law is written right now, the census counts all persons, not just citizens, when it's figuring out how many congressional seats and electoral votes each state gets. So he argues this creates a direct incentive for some states to maximize their non-citizen populations, all to get more federal power. So you can see for him, this isn't just one issue on a long list of issues. No, he frames the entire political conflict in the U.S. today around this one single, incredibly high-stakes battle. And finally, this is where it all comes together. Musk connects this whole battle for society's software right now to what he sees as the ultimate existential risk, the future of artificial intelligence. He has this deep, deep fear that the exact same ideology he's fighting in society is going to be permanently programmed into a future superintelligence.
So his goal, what he's trying to do, is to build an alternative, what he calls a maximally truth-seeking AI.
And he points to some recent examples from other AI models as what he sees as proof that this danger is real, right now. For instance, when an AI generates historically inaccurate images, Musk doesn't just see that as a simple glitch or an error. No, he interprets it as hard evidence that the AI is being deliberately programmed to lie. And that's a flaw he believes could have absolutely disastrous consequences as AI gets more and more powerful. Looking even further ahead, he makes this huge prediction that AI is going to fundamentally change how we interact with all technology. He thinks that in just 5 or 6 years, the entire app and operating system ecosystem that we use every single day, it's all going to be obsolete. It'll be replaced by just a direct interface with AI.
And that's really the core of it, this whole framework. From rockets to AI, all the way to what he sees as a literal fight for civilization, that is the lens through which he says he sees the world. The biggest thing to take away from all this is just how deeply intertwined he believes these things really are. For him, it's not just about building cool tech. For Musk, it's about steering the very course of humanity's future.